And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. Hope you're having a good day. As always, we have lots to cover. Serious talk on everything that affects you and a lot of jello moving on the plate today. We hope you are listening carefully. We'll talk markets, the economy, your job, your industry, crime, and we'll start with that out of the box. Scam, shams, corruption, debt deficits, quantum stocks. We'll get into that in a second. And whatever else. And in case you don't know, if you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. Also on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, you should. We'll post it on podcast apps. We'll post it on the YouTube channel of BizTV. And if you'd like to email me, all you have to do is be nice and respectful, because we will always be nice and respectful back, unless you like Hamas. So we are usually pre-tape the show right after the market closes, but right now the market's going to close in about 15 minutes. And right now, I was watching for the last 15 minutes. The president's doing this whatever on crime. And he's holding in front of the camera about how they are dismantling cartels, trying to fight crime in cities that have too much crime, and all that. Crime. And as I've told you, I was on the subway a few weeks ago and some guy got in my face. And I don't know what to do, because I don't know what he's got in his pockets. I don't know what he's going to do. So I just tried to back out away, and I got off at the next stop, even though it wasn't my stop, because you don't want to get caught in something like that. And it was just me on the train. And another time somebody came up to me and asked me if I was Jewish, and you can just tell that they were not happy. I guess I look Jewish. Other people say I look Italian. Anyway, I've been in the big cities. I've been in San Francisco and Chicago, where they're shutting stores because of crime. I haven't been in Oakland, which I hear is worse, and other places. And I'm thinking to myself, pretty simplistic, you as a citizen of these, by the way, what does it have to do with markets? Well, it has everything to do with the economy, which has everything to do with the markets. You as a citizen, you as a mom, you as a dad, wouldn't you want to know, damn, there's just no crime here. We're good. And I know that's a little reach, no crime. And I read yesterday that, somebody punched a 70-year-old woman. Somebody punched a 70-year-old woman. Randomly beating a 70-year-old woman so badly she needed an emergency hip replacement. This guy, for whatever reason, jumped out of the bushes and kicked the woman in the chest and beat the crap out of her. He was released on $500 bond. I think you have to put up $50 for that. In certain cities, if you shoplift, what is it, $950? $945, it's really a summons, it's a ticket. Over $950, so the thieves are bringing in calculators. I'm not making this up. And every day we're reading about that this person's been let out after 30 arrests. And on the 31st, he murdered somebody. You're reading that. I am too. And I just have to remember, you know who I love talking to? Doormen at hotels. I call them the CEOs, because your first impression at these places is the most important. and the valet. Very important people. And just so you know, I've been to Dubai once, and the doorman there was from Ethiopia. I stayed at the Burj Al Arab. It is a 7-star hotel. I went off season, paid 33 cents on the dollar, then high season. Had to do it. Took my family. The rooms are 2 stories, 3. It was just ridiculous. Go look it up. It's just sick. And I would talk to this man from Ethiopia and ask him how long he's been there and tell me this and that and his life story. And he loved that I was asking him questions. He says, nobody really asked me about my life. But I love doing that. But I also asked him about, I hear there's no crime here in Dubai. He goes, you're darn right, there's no crime here. And I said, why? And this is exactly what he said, and I'm not paraphrasing, because they know what would happen to them. That's what he said. He told me you can drop a $50,000 Rolex on the ground and walk away, and nobody would steal it. You can drop a wallet with 10 grand in it, nobody would steal it, they would turn it in. Drug dealing? Hell no. And I'm just thinking to myself, why are all these mayors and governors of these big cities and blue states pissed off at Trump for wanting to fight crime and root out bad? Why are they pissed off that here you have somebody? I believe in D.C. crime is down some like 80-90%. I believe went to Memphis, same thing. And these are not reported by Trump. This is being reported. Yet these mayors and governors of these blue cities and states are mad. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. In Raleigh, North Carolina, I have 4 goddaughters ages like 9 to 16. I don't want any crime there. Right? My sons are now of age, so still worry. One son lives in New York City. You know what I always tell him? Never stand near the railroad track. Always back away. Because we see videos of guys being pushed onto the track. And all I'm thinking to myself, imagine if it is well known that crime is going to pay, don't you dare. What do you think happens? Well, look what's happening in places where they put people there and have made it a point of, if you, we're going to. And I'm thinking, what happened to our justice system where people are getting out 30 times? And this is that's not an exaggeration. I'm reading about it every day. About this person and that person that got out, 30 arrests and went to 31. And on 31, they murdered somebody. And I hear the judges say, well, we have these certain parameters. No, they don't. You don't think a judge can say, wait a minute, extenuating circumstances? So I'm just letting you know, I'm a crime fighter. I'm so happy with Trump doing this. And I know there are some saying, well, he's doing this and he's too much and too this, too that. You know what? In some of these cities, I'm not so sure it's too much. And the mayor of D.C., who's totally Democrat, is happy. Now, crime should also pay for the insider trading going on by the House and Senate. That too. We don't play favorites here. Anyway, I just had to bring that up because I've been watching. Trump is doing this, it's a law enforcement roundtable, and I'm thinking to myself, how can anybody be mad at that? Yet people are. And do you realize if you lower crime in any city by 10%, you know how much that helps the economy? Do you know how many stores are shut in San Francisco and Chicago right now in very important areas because of crime? A bunch. You know what that is? That's economic growth and jobs lost. Just a thought. We'll put a bow tie on it, hit the markets. Oh, the markets. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So ordinary citizens are going nuts over fighting of crime. I can guarantee you that if Obama was doing this, they wouldn't be protesting. It's all about politics. It's all about politics. Remember, Obama is the king of deporting illegal immigrants. The king. Was there ever one protest when he was doing it, President? Did the media cover it once? No, but Trump's the Antichrist. And by the way, as you know, I am not a fan about how Trump's gone about that. Love what he's done with the border. I believe you deport the criminals. But I'm not so sure you deport somebody that's been here 20 years, paying taxes, has 3 kids, 2 grandkids, and you pick them up and throw them out. I'm not so sure that's the right move. Hey, that's just my opinion. I know some of you disagree. I respectfully would disagree with you. Anyway, I just had to bring this up because I was just thinking about the man in Dubai from Ethiopia telling me, and I quote, because they know what would happen to them. And there really is no crime in Dubai. And I'm pretty sure if our justice system made crime pay fairly, made crime pay. Oh, you beat the crap out of a 70-year-old? You're 25, 30, you jump out of the bushes? Oh, $500 bail? No. 100,000. And maybe the next person will think about it. You know what the other one I have to definitely do differently? Age. I am seeing so many 16-year-olds shooting people. Oh, but they're 16. I'm sorry. When I was 16, I was responsible. Used to go to wrestling matches every Wednesday night, but I was quite responsible. That should be looked at too. And by the way, judges have discretion. I saw a video of a couple of teens that murdered somebody, a grandmother, and they were laughing in court. And the judge got so pissed off. Their attorney thought, oh, it's going to be juvenile and all that. Judge came out and said, we're trying you as an adult. You should have seen the smiles wiped off their faces so quick your head would spin. Anyway, I just want to start with crime because I'm listening to Trump, and I was watching yesterday how the governor of Chicago was having fits, and basically calling Nazi this and Nazi that over wanting to fight crime. If you agree, email me. If you disagree, email me. I want to hear what you would say. Speaking of crime, have you been looking at this NBA stuff? This is just off the beaten path. Holy crap. A coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, I think a assistant coach, a player, and a whole bunch of people fixing poker games and fixing a basketball game. Whoa. And what was funny about it when it was being reported today, you know who wasn't showing it? When the FBI did their thing, the presser? ESPN wasn't showing it. It was on the regular networks. Anyway, that's to be played out. And that's besides the point. Anyway. Let me give you some numbers. If the NASDAQ breaks above 23,120, we're going to get another leg up. And maybe a good one. And remember, that number comes from the high of 2 Fridays ago when the president did the China tariff thing again. And we dropped, what did we drop that day? 850 Dow and 850 NASDAQ? Well, we got that almost back. Just letting you know. 23,120. If the NASDAQ 100 breaks above 25,196, and only 100 points away, that would be a breakout. Now, just so you know, we like breakouts from long ranges. These are short ranges, but the fact that it's a short range and it's coming off of a big, gigantic sell-off 2 Fridays ago, it tells you the strength. And by the way, notice NASDAQ 100. The semiconductors, if the SOX breaks above, we're going to call it 68.90 to 69.40. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense. You get my point. If the semiconductors break above that, well, there you go with the NASDAQ and NASDAQ 100. And I have to tell you, after that Friday, hell no. Yesterday, we were down 400, finished down 200. And I'm thinking, okay, we finished pretty good. We'll probably have an up day today. But they jammed the semis today. Tech. Remember how I kept saying AI? Boy, it's getting distributed. They just jumped all over it today. A lot of get backs today. What's a get back? Well, down 15 yesterday, up 11 today. If the S&P 500 breaks above 67.65, that would be, again, that high. I usually give less weight to the Dow. If the Dow, I'm going to leave the Dow alone. But I also have to mention software. It's been dormant for weeks and is trading where it was in July. If that can get going, that shall add to the good action in technology. Amazing. I'm impressed. And a break above those levels should probably lead to another leg up of unknown price, unknown time. Now we're in the midst of earnings season, and just to give you an idea what we have to deal with. Are you ready? Tesla. Tesla opened poorly. In fact, on the first 5-minute bar, it traded at the lows of $413.90. It was down $26. It finished up $10. What else on the crazy today? This is the one only Investor's Edge. So Tesla, with their 31% drop in earnings, missing estimates, down $26 right near the open, finishes up $10. $36 reversal today, which puts it back in this range, this wicked range it's been in for about 5 weeks. And we'll see if it can take it out going forward. The story is, well, don't worry about the cars. It's all about robo-taxis and robots now, or whatever the robo thing is. And the market certainly believes it because the numbers stink. If Tesla was selling popcorn, the stock, instead of being at $449, would probably be $70. IBM in the Dow. IBM today on the open, $263, down $25, which is about 160 Dow points. Finished only down 2.5. That reversed very well today. Interesting, huh? On the other end, and here's a fun one. You know, one of my favorites is United Rentals. Well, United Rentals gapped down today, and in the first 5-minute bar hit $937. Down $53. Within 20 minutes, it hit $991. Down $2 for the day. $51 reversal to the upside within 20 minutes. Finished down $77. Drop 53, rally 51, drop 75. All in one day. This is what we get to deal with sometimes around earnings season. Yippee yay yay. Just letting you know. Quite the moves in quite the few earnings reports. Other good movers today that have to be of note. Honeywell. Let me state for the record, the stock has done nothing since 2020. It's flat. Let's call it 5 years of nothingness. And recently has been on the weak side, nothing bad, 241 down to 200. On earnings today that were only single digits, up $14. That 90 Dow points today. Of the 144, the Dow was up today. So a lot of jello moving on the plate, but some other things went on today you need to know. Oil prices, unfortunately, up $3 today. Why? We're putting sanctions on Russia, which will force prices up in the near term. So oil stocks had a very good day. And I got to tell you, I got about 15 oil names, almost new yearly highs on most of them. And some coming on strong. Why? Higher prices. Why? Cost the same to bring it out. You get to charge more to send it out. Margin expansion. So that happened today. And that's all. I don't know if I would trust it because I don't know how long they keep the sanctions on Russia. And of course, that is in reaction to ain't nothing going on with Russia and that war over there. And then you had, bad reaction to Blackstone, not good. I mentioned United Rentals, Ryder, symbol R, down $22 today. Big breakdown. By the way, you know what Ryder does? Vehicle leasing and stuff like that. Transports. And as you know, the transports have been weak. Down another 300 today because of that. So again, a lot of jello moving on the plate, but I had to start out by telling you, boy, that NASDAQ 100. If they decide to break out to the upside, more than likely another leg up. Keep in mind, everything's reporting earnings. Next week, I believe, is Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta. Yeah, I think that's what we're getting next week. The rest of this week, we got after the closes, Intel, which is now nauseatingly owned 10% by I don't know who, and that's up in the aftermarket a couple of bucks. I'll have to see what they had to say. Ford's in the aftermarket now, and that is down a couple of percent. Deckers has been the big bear market. That's down again in the aftermarket. That's a big wow. And tomorrow, not much. Next week, we'll get Mr. Bubble, Jay Powell, and whatever other reports we get. But I can't overemphasize enough. Wow. Impressive day. Good comeback. If we don't break out, we don't break out. No, we're not predicting. We'll react if it does. Couple of other notes. The announcement, I don't know what the hell's going on, because there was this announcement by, I believe it was the Wall Street Journal, that came out and said that the administration is taking positions in quantum. One is a no sales quantum. The other two, very little in sales and lose a bunch of money. So the Wall Street Journal overnight reports, and they all gap up a little bit, and they've all been crashing recently. Yahoo Finance came out today and said, Wall Street Journal is wrong. There is nothing going on with the administration in these quantum names. And then the Wall Street Journal came out and said that Yahoo Finance is wrong. Anyway, they were up much better. They still finished up today. I still have to warn you that they have crashed. 30 to 60% is a crash in 6 days. A lot of this froth, be careful. We're not going to tell you what to do. We have no edge. When you go up and then drop 30 to 60% in 6 days, you're always going to probably bounce a little bit. Okie dokie. We would not be happy if we don't like any of this socialism. Sorry. Remember what we have said to you. What goes around comes around. Tariff policy. What if a Marxist takes over the White House in 28? What are they going to do with tariff policy? Remember this. Taking positions in companies. I'm not happy. I don't want to see it. There should not be that mix, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my opinion. And I couldn't give a crap if it was a Republican, a Democrat, Whig Party, Independent. Does not matter to me. And that's the quantum soap opera of this day. Yay. By the way, I can't wait to see what happens with this NBA thing. In other news, we always tell you, be careful when you're giving charity and be smart and get ratings and ask people. Here's a beauty. The executive director of a Missouri nonprofit stole $10 million from a program intended to provide meals for low-income children and blew it on mansions and luxury cars. Accused of claiming $20 million in reimbursements for the charity from the government, she used the funds on a mansion for herself, on houses for her family, and a bright yellow Mercedes for her boyfriend that cost over $200,000. Why do they always spend $200,000 on a car when they steal money? You can't spend $80,000? Up next, we got other news of the day and much more. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Yeah, I'm going to steal a bunch of money from charity and buy a house and a $230,000 Mercedes. Oh, but I didn't do anything wrong. Offered a plea deal to admit guilt before the judge. Could face more than 20 years in prison. Cool. By the way, before you email me, just remember on the crime pays thing, I am pissed off at Trump for letting George Santos out of jail. He should still be in jail. He's a crook and a fraud. And it nauseates me that people are putting him on TV and doing interviews with him. He's a no-thing. He's a nobody. He's a zero. He's a zipperhead. He's a Joey Lunchbucket. Oh, yeah, let's put him on TV. Anyway, so again, we do not screw around when it comes to crime, ladies and gentlemen. In other news, I really need help with my fantasy league this week. I don't have a running back. My Gibbs has got a bye, and my everybody else is okay. We move on. National debt hit over $38 trillion today. The spending spiral continues to get out of whack. I saw a Republican today say, "Don't worry, growth will fix everything." That's a lie. We've been hearing that forever. How do you fix the deficits? How do you fix the debt? You lower the spending of government, and this administration had a chance and didn't do it and did nothing about it. If I was the president, I would have knocked about $900 billion off of the $1.8 trillion of the Inflation Reduction Act scam. But why didn't the Republicans do it? Because it would hurt GDP, because government spending goes into GDP, and God forbid we have an election next year. But don't worry, the tariffs, they say, that are coming into this country, that are not coming into this country, they're being paid by our companies, are going to pay down some of it. And I will tell you this, it has. And I must tell you, the good news is it so far has not affected things in any kind of a big way. And I must tell you, at the end of a year, if they can knock off $300 billion off of the deficit because of tariffs, which I don't like, but if we continue to grow, I'm happy about it. Though I would do it a different way, because we have got to stop the trajectory of our size and scope and reach and spending and debt and deficits of our government. Case closed. Case closed. Other news. Trump just pardoned a crypto billionaire who also committed fraud. I'm not happy about that either. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you something about George Santos. He's also been relieved of all the money he stole. There's supposed to be restitution on top of jail time. Relieved. You know what the good news is? That's federal. State does not do pardons, and it looks like the state is coming after him. Good. I want him in jail. Why? Because he's a crook, and he should pay. So the next person thinks twice. What a concept. And that is all. In the news, a housing market, just letting you know it continues. What I am seeing continues, and that is pending sales are not happening. People are backing away. Do you know why they back away? Because they feel the softness and maybe they can get it cheaper a month later. We're seeing fantasy prices coming down, some swiftly. I saw a $10 million one knock down $1 million, and it's still $2 million high. By the way, I look at everything. I'm not buying a $10 million house. I'm seeing 500 down to 450. I'm seeing $1 million down to 850. I'm seeing $3 million down to 2.6, but still too high. And I will tell you, the most vulnerable areas are the ones with the most inventory. Why? Because you have to compete against the next person and the next house. The least vulnerable areas are the ones where there's not many houses for sale, though they are going to be somewhat vulnerable also. Now, the good news is for the housing market, I believe I saw today the average 30-year was down to 611, which is a lot lower than it was. But I do know that yields went up a little bit today, so that'll change a little bit. So that's good news. Let's hope that stays down, because when you extrapolate and amortize 6.1 versus 7, you save a lot of interest over your life. And by the way, don't do 30 years. It's a scam. Do 15. Pay a little bit more every month, but you are paid off in 15 instead of 30, and you start paying off your principal the first month. On a 30-year, you don't pay down principal till like year 15. They front load the interest on you. You gain no capital. Look that up. When you're looking at a house and you're doing a mortgage, do 2 amortization schedules, a 15 to 30. And by the way, the 15 will also be a lower interest rate than a 30 also in most places. Take a look. Your payment's a little more, but boy, oh boy, you build up equity day one, not year 15. And that is that. Anyway, until tomorrow, have a great evening. Drive carefully. Very good day. By the way, NASDAQ up 200 today. Dow was up 144. Have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Thanks for joining. Good night.